Hello, everyone. I'm going to read today from my childhood book, Green Light Go. And this is a very old story, Puss in Boots. Puss gets a new master. Once upon a time, there were three brothers. When they grew up, their father gave something to each brother. He gave the oldest brother gold. To the middle brother, he gave a donkey. But the last brother got only a cat. What good is a cat? He said. I wish I had gold or the donkey, and I could really be happy. There he is with his cat. The cat, who was called Puss, heard what the last brother said. Don't feel bad, master, said Puss. Things are better than you think. You must do just two things. First, get me a bag, then buy some little boots for me. I will show you that I can bring you good luck. The last brother did not see what the cat could do, but he got the things for Puss. As soon as Puss got the little boots, he put them on. Then he put some food in his bag, and then he put the bag over his arm and went hunting. When Puss came to a field, he lay down in the grass and opened his bag of food. Then he pretended to sleep. A rabbit came by. The rabbit smelled the food Puss had put into the bag, and he jumped right into the bag to get it. Puss quickly pulled the strings on the bag. Then he went to see the king. The king was at his table. And what do you want? He asked Puss. Here is a fine rabbit, Puss answered. It is a gift from the master of the Puss in Boots. Tell your master that I thank him, said the king. It is a very fine rabbit. The next day, Puss took his bag and went hunting again. He went to another field and lay down in the tall grass. Two fine, fat birds walked by. They too smelled the food in the bag, and they walked right inside to get it. So here was Puss going to see the king. So look at Puss in his boots. Puss is kind of smart. Again, Puss pulled the strings of the bag and went at once to the king's palace. This time Puss said to the king, the master of the Puss in Boots sends you these two birds. They are from the fields. The king was more pleased than ever. Give my thanks to your master, he said, and here is some money for you. Puss made many trips to the palace and took many gifts to the king. One day while he was at the palace, he heard the king was going for a ride by the river. He was going with the princess, who was a very beautiful girl. Puss ran back to his master. Today is the day, said Puss. Do as I say, and you will have all you could ever want. This morning you must go for a swim in the river. While the master was in the water, the king and the princess passed by. Puss saw them and shouted, Help! Help! The master of the Puss in Boots has fallen in the water. Help! Help! He cannot swim. The king heard Puss call for help. He quickly told one of his men to pull the master out of the water. So there they are in the carriage. There they are yelling, Help! Then Puss said, A terrible thing has happened. My master's clothes have fallen in the water and now they are lost. No one could see that Puss had really picked up the clothes and put them in his bag. They were very old clothes and full of holes, and Puss did not want the king to see his master dressed in them. Tell your master I will be glad to give him some of my clothes, said the king. He has given me so many fine gifts. Puss helped his master dress in the king's clothes. How fine he looked! The princess thought so too. When she saw the master in his fine new clothes, she fell in love with him at once. The king, too, was pleased with the way the master looked. He asked the master to ride with him and the princess, but Puss ran on ahead. His work was not over yet. Puss ran down the road and called to all the farmers he passed in all the fields. Hear me well, the king is coming. He will ask to whom the fields belong. Puss went on, You must say that the fields belong to the master of the Puss in Boots. If you do not say this, something terrible will happen to you. The farmers had seen many cats, but they had never seen a cat in boots. They thought Puss must be the greatest cat in the whole world. They were afraid not to do what he said. The king rode by. Who owns these beautiful fields? He asked. The farmers answered as Puss had told them to. Fields belong to the master of the Puss in Boots. Of course, Puss knew that the fields really belonged to a terrible giant. And so while the king passed through the fields, Puss ran to the giant's castle. Oh, giant, said Puss, I hear that you are very clever. I hear that you can do magic tricks. I would like to see one. There's Puss, and you can see the giant's reflection or shadow. I'll show you, said the giant. He waved his hand. Now we'll turn into a lion, he said. And as he said it, he did turn into a lion. Puss was very much afraid of the lion, but he did not show that he was. When the giant changed back to himself, Puss said, "It is a pretty good trick, but I bet you can't turn into a small animal like a mouse." This made the giant angry. Of course I can, he shouted. And as he said it, he turned into a very small mouse. Quickly, before the giant could change back, Puss ate him up. And that was the end of the giant. When the king and the princess and the master got to the giant's castle, they found Puss. "Welcome to the castle of the master of Puss in Boots," Puss said. The master was very surprised, but he said nothing. "Does this fine big castle belong to your master too?" asked the king. "And all the fields around it?" "Of course," said Puss. "Won't you come in and have dinner with us?" "Thank you, we will," said the king. He thought how nice it would be if this fine man would marry the princess. So after dinner, the king asked the master of Puss in Boots if he would like to marry the princess. "This very day, if you please," said the master. And after they were married, the master and the princess lived in the castle together with the wonderful Puss in Boots. They were all very happy. Here they are, very happy. Well, you like that? It turned out really good. The master was very fortunate to have Puss in Boots as his cat. I think he got the best gift. What do you think? If you like Puss in Boots, a very old story, please press like at the end, and I'll see you next time at Cindy Harper Speaks. Thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.